Hey, I wanted to talk about something that's kind of a fine-grained topic in regards to ritualistic work and occult work, which is this idea that there are certain trance states that are provoked by ritual activity. I would say that a regular ritual that you do, like for instance, banishing rituals, which I'll make a video about in the future, are a regularly performed ritual from any occultists. A banishing ritual is just kind of a general ritual. Usually it's not particularly like special or anything. It's just done often. Removes unwanted and even wanted influences and kind of like puts you on a blank slate. That's how people conceptualize it. So it'll remove old ritual workings, both yours and others, or nature's, and so on. Um, so when you engage in a ritual, like you do the same ritual, the same process, you could even have the same like clothing, the same like ritual tools like a wand or a knife of some kind, or the same area or the same time. Those areas, because of associative conditioning, become associated with these ideas, with this idea that you are performing magic, that you are going towards these certain intentions. You can end up with more than one type of ritual feeling. You perform a banishing ritual in a certain manner. Well, there's one type of ritual state, and then maybe you perform something else for perhaps ideas on a story that you're writing, and then you do that in a certain time and in a certain way frequently. That's a different ritualistic state that feels very different. So that's very fun. I mean, it's almost like creating your own emotions in the shape of your intention. In a way, you're like self-programming yourself and kind of changing the way that things feel. So, in a very literal way, you change the way you perceive reality by doing things like that. Because then, whenever you go towards your goal that your ritualistic intention is associated with, then when you say write a novel after having done multiple workings for that type of goal, then that also triggers the ritual state, and that feels kind of cool. Altered states of consciousness are very interesting. I might do a video in the future, distant future, on neuroimaging studies that have been done. There are actually quite a few neuroimaging studies that have been done on people who are like meditating, doing different types of shamanic trances, and just so many different types of studies. So I might do a video on that. They activate different brain regions and different types of neural activity, which is really super duper interesting in my opinion. But so that's the ritual trance. You do this type of process where you focus on this intention in a certain way for often enough, it provokes this trance state. And then there's, of course, Gnosis, which is at the climax of your ritual where you're, engaged in your ritual process. You're kind of flooded with those feelings of like ritualistic trance. And then, the Gnosis is kind of like that point when you feel like you've reached some type of momentary ecstasy, like those feelings have come to a head. That's Gnosis. And that's what a lot of occultists think is the moment where you like send something externally. Most of me is an atheist. My child alters love that kind of thing, but most of me doesn't quite believe that. But a lot of people do believe that that moment of ecstasy when you're in the middle of a ritual trance, which they call Gnosis, is when the magic happens and comes outside of you. So that's just a very quick video on ritual states. There are a lot of different states, and as fMRI studies have shown us, they actually do activate different parts of the brain, so that's really cool. I'm going to do a series on different altered states of consciousness. I think I'll focus on shamanic trances, which are very interesting. Different shamanic cultures across the world have used trance states in slightly different ways for a lot of different purposes. It's like a core part of shamanic and animistic practices. So I'm probably going to do a series on that next. But thank you for listening. Oh, actually, you know what? Before I stop, I want to talk about the idea of the sacred. So when you always associate something with ritualistic, some type of ritualistic goal or something occult-like or spiritual, or say if you set something aside and, deem it sacred in some way, that's this idea of making things sacred. In this very literal way, you change how you perceive things by the way that you treat them in the real world, and this changes how things feel to you inside, which is kind of cool. All right, I think that's good. Take care.